Imagine standing in front of a colossal barrier that stretches for thousands of kilometers, cutting through scorching deserts, crossing flowing rivers, and climbing imposing mountains. But what makes this structure so special? Can a wall really stop someone determined to cross? Or does it represent something much greater than just a physical barrier? The border between the United States and Mexico is one of the most watched and debated in the world. Approximately 2,000 miles long, this barrier combines steel walls, reinforced fences, and a sophisticated monitoring system, turning it into one of the most iconic and controversial structures of the 21st century. But how did it come about? What led to its construction? And what are the consequences of this division for both countries? Let's delve into the history and impacts of this monumental work. Contrary to what many people imagine, the border barrier is not a continuous wall that runs the entire length of the border. In some areas, there are huge steel and concrete slabs that vary between 18 and 30 feet in height, while in others, reinforced metal fences form the main barrier. But in addition to the physical structures, a technological arsenal has been deployed to reinforce security. Motion sensors, 24-hour surveillance cameras, highly equipped military drones, and even artificial intelligence assisting Border Patrol agents. Border control doesn't just depend on the wall. Thousands of U.S. Border Patrol agents, many of them ex-military, constantly patrol the region. Equipped with armored vehicles, weapons, night vision goggles, and thermal sensors, these agents work day and night to prevent illegal crossings. In addition, unmanned aircraft or military drones fly over the most vulnerable areas, monitoring any suspicious movements and providing real-time information to the agents on the ground. One of the most striking images of the border fence is the stretch that goes straight into the ocean. Many people wonder, why don't immigrants try to cross by swimming or in small boats? The answer is simple. This stretch is heavily patrolled, both by agents on land and by maritime units of the U.S. Border Patrol and Coast Guard. In addition, the rough waters and dangerous currents make this crossing extremely risky. Even if someone tries to swim around the wall, the chances of being spotted by a drone or patrol boat are extremely high. Want to find out more about buildings? Like it, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. Share it with a friend who likes the content. The idea of restricting immigration through physical barriers didn't come up recently. Since the 20th century, different U.S. governments have implemented measures to try to contain the entry of undocumented immigrants. But it was in the late 1990s and early 2000s that the construction of a physical barrier gained momentum. Concerns about mass immigration, drug trafficking, and national security issues led to several projects being approved to extend the wall. The attacks of September 11, 2001 intensified the discourse on border control, increasing support for stricter measures. Since then, the construction and expansion of the barrier has become a recurring agenda in American politics, dividing opinions between those who advocate greater security and those who believe that walls are not the solution. The barrier didn't just affect immigration. Entire communities along the border have been divided, impacting the lives of thousands of people. Families that used to move freely between the two countries now face difficulties reuniting. Small businesses that depended on the traffic of people between the countries have been damaged, resulting in significant economic impacts. In addition to the social effects, the environment has also suffered major consequences. The construction of the wall altered natural habitats, preventing the migration of animals that used to move freely between the regions. Species such as the jaguar and the Mexican wolf have had their territories fragmented, putting some of them at risk. The United States is not alone in erecting walls to control its borders. Throughout history, several nations have adopted similar strategies to prevent migratory flows, contain conflicts, or reinforce their national security. The demilitarized zone between the Koreas, one of the best-known examples of a barrier between countries. This heavily guarded region has separated North and South Korea since 1953, functioning as a militarized border. The fence between India and Bangladesh, an extensive system of physical barriers built to contain immigration and illegal trafficking between the two countries. The border between Israel and Egypt, a fortified barrier built to stop the flow of immigrants and prevent attacks by extremist groups. These barriers, like the wall between the U.S. and Mexico, raise questions about the real effectiveness of these constructions. Do they really prevent immigration? Or do they just push immigrants towards more dangerous routes? The border between the United States and Mexico continues to be one of the most debated in the world. The expansion of the barrier is progressing along some stretches, while opposition to the project is growing as well. For some, the wall represents protection against external threats and control over immigration. For others, it symbolizes the separation of peoples and the weakening of values such as freedom and inclusion. But are physical barriers really the solution to problems such as immigration and security? Or does the path to a more balanced future lie through diplomacy, economic development, and cooperation between nations? Leave your opinion in the comments and take part in this discussion.